Rockstar Games has been at the forefront of third-person sandbox games over the past decade. From the Grand Theft Auto series to Red Dead Redemption released last year, their open-world games have all received high praise. Rockstar's latest installment, Noire, is certainly no exception. Combining several elements from different game genres, Noire fully succeeds in being different from the typical drive around and cause mass destruction design. While Noire features some great ideas, I unfortunately didn't find it fully worthy of its critical acclaim, unlike Rockstar's previous efforts. In the game, you play as Cole Phelps, a detective for the LAPD who solves various committed crimes set in 1940s Los Angeles.
Stand up and take a bow, Phelps.
If it's all right with you, sir.
Shh, quiet, everybody.
There are several types of crimes for you to solve, ranging from burglary to arson, though my personal favorite happens to be homicide. Each type of crime is designated to a certain desk, and you'll receive a different partner for each specific desk. While some of these partners are funny, such as Rusty, most of them are just flat-out fucking pricks.
Get your hands off me. Don't ever tell me what to do or what not to do, Alphonse. You got a nice club here. Don't spoil it. What an evening I'm having. First a Negro puts his hands on me, and then this. Who do you think you're talking to, you German junkie whore? Don't you ever forget your place with me again.
Yeah, you get the idea. The rest of the story unfolds courtesy of newspapers hidden throughout the missions that provide some backstory revolving around coal fighting in Japan during World War II. Unfortunately, this wasn't the greatest idea, since if you miss a couple during your playthrough of the game, you might have a hard time understanding the events that occur at the end of the game. Each case starts out with the captain of your department ordering you to investigate a crime scene.
Your first case is the murder of a woman, found last night and bearing all the signs of the werewolf. Get out to the scene, lads.
You'll have the option to either manually drive to the location, or allow your partner to do so. I chose the latter as the vehicles don't handle all that well, and regular citizens tend to drive just as recklessly as you do. Upon arriving at your destination, you'll be forced to talk to the coroner and some other assholes before searching the premises for clues. This seemingly simple process becomes a tedious chore after playing the game for a few hours. This generally relies on luck and guesswork rather than actual skill. Pressing A near an object will allow you to inspect it to find more information about the crime. These clues are generally pretty easy to find, especially if you use intuition, so I didn't really have a problem with that. What I did have a problem with are the other objects you can pick up. When you're in someone's house, you'll be able to pick up stupid objects like carrots and silverware or something else just as trivial, instead of notes, books, and pieces of paper that the game doesn't actually allow you to interact with. The next aspect of the game is the interrogation process on witnesses or suspects related to your current case. When talking to someone, you'll have the option to either trust them, doubt what they say, or accuse them of lying. When you accuse them of lying, you have to provide evidence based off the clues you collected beforehand, and this is where another problem starts to show itself. You'll usually have at least several pieces of evidence to support your accusation with, and more often than not, at least two of them have the exact same meaning. For example, this woman was denying that she knew a teenage girl had been raped by her husband, but apparently the teenager's underwear that had been physically ripped from her body, which I selected as evidence, had absolutely no relevance whatsoever to the rape, according to the game.
You should be ashamed of yourself, detective.
This holds true with the questioning as well. When you ask someone a question, there's only one right answer, and you have to judge whether the person is lying or not based on their facial expressions. Featured in the game are intuition points that I mentioned earlier, which you gain from completing cases. These allow you to either display all clues in an area for a short period of time, remove an answer choice in a questioning sequence, or set up percentages that tell you which answer is most likely correct. Regardless, each case will end up the exact same way despite how many questions you might get wrong, so I really don't understand why there's only one right answer per question. I really would have preferred a different case ending depending on which answer you chose, similar to games such as Mass Effect. Finally, there are some action sequences sporadically scattered between the cases. The shooting mechanics are almost exactly the same as Grand Theft Auto 4 and Red Dead Redemption. You take cover using RB and have to aim around corners to get quick shots out without taking any damage. The only big differences here is that your health regenerates over time, your pistol has infinite ammo, and you sprint by holding down RT instead of tapping the A button. These shooting sequences can be really fun and exciting to engage in, but they're so rare that they never have the opportunity to add more variety to the game. In addition, there are traditional car chases similar to GTA 4 and some rather boring sequences where you have to tail suspects without getting too close to their vehicle. Thankfully, you have the option to skip over these boring sequences should you fail them 3 times. Finally, you'll have to pursue suspects on foot. These sequences are exciting but inconsistent. Sometimes you'll have the option to aim your gun on the guy long enough to fire a warning shot off to force the suspect to a halt. But most of the time you'll be forced to continue running on until you tackle him or fight him. This makes me wonder what the hell happened to your gun, and why the hell Cole doesn't bother using it all the goddamn time. The fighting system revolves around mashing on the A button, while occasionally dodging swings using the X button. Unfortunately, none of these chases, or case locations for that matter, really take advantage of the unique atmosphere of retro Los Angeles. The game is so linear from location to location that it almost discourages you from venturing off on your own. The obvious highlight of the game's visuals is the superb facial animation technology. You'll be able to see every grin, twitch, and lip curl around a person's mouth in order to tell whether or not they're lying. The rest of the graphics aren't quite as consistent. While indoor environments are well detailed and look great, the frame rate occasionally drops while you're traveling at high speeds in a car. Also, several times the textures of the streets and buildings didn't load up until about 15 seconds, and this is simply unacceptable. The voice acting is superb for every actor in the game, particularly for Cole Phelps, his homicide partner Rusty, and Captain Donnelly of the homicide desk. Unfortunately, the story doesn't pay a whole lot of tribute to the actors. There's an awful plot twist that takes place towards the end of the game that comes at you unexpectedly and serves no purpose whatsoever in the grand scheme of things. You're probably getting the wrong idea based on how many complaints I have towards this game. I actually liked the game and I thought it was enjoyable until the end of the homicide desk. The game's main problem is simply repetition and lack of variety in the missions. The game takes around 15 hours to beat, and I don't see any reason to replay the missions aside from getting achievements. Overall, I thought Noire had a lot of great ideas thrown in, and it comes off as a good game. I just thought it could have been a whole lot better. For fans of sandbox games or RPGs, I'd recommend a rent or a buy once the price drops down into the $40 range. Anyone else should probably just take a pass on this one. Patriot out.